go. I don't think Mark Stoops would have any interest in the job personally. Um, I don't think that that's what he would. I don't think he'd consider that, and he's certainly an outstanding coach who's done a great job. I think Mark would. Mark's idea is that he's at Kentucky, and that if he's going to leave, he's going to leave for a what is a more modern day elite program. Nebraska is historically elite, but I think look, he turned down Florida State, and I think that everyone will say he's doing a good job, and maybe he's got a little tired of Calipari and his smart aleck ways, and maybe he'll but he's not going to be stupid and leave just to leave. I mean, I think he'd leave for a really good elite job. I mean, and what would that be? Would you know? And I'm not saying that he would, but a Notre Dame, a Michigan. I mean, he could do better than Nebraska, and I think a lot of Nebraska, if that makes sense. So that's why I don't think that's a real match.
Eh, so what kind of job would Mark Stoops leave for?
Well, that's what I said. A
Yeah, I mean,
Notre Dame, a
okay,
Michigan,
Notre Dame, Notre Dame.
Ohio State. Um, I don't think he'd want to go
Wow. So
through. He
I
wouldn't.
guess
He wouldn't go through like the. He wouldn't go through the politics at Auburn. But yeah, no, he could get one of those elite jobs. He
okay.
absolutely could. I mean, let me just tell you this. I told you this. I think the other day he was not. He was on the long list at LSU, not on the short list. He would leave. He would have left for LSU. Yeah, he'd. I mean, one of those elite jobs. Now he's also got Midwest ties. So I mean, if Ohio State came open, if I mean, I don't know that he'd leave to go to Iowa, but that's his alma mater. He probably I think feels like he could do better. I think he'd look at that. I think um, one of if you look at what you consider top 10 jobs in the country, just fill in the blank. If they ever come open, Ohio State. I don't know if Michigan would move there, but Notre Dame. That's what I think that's what he's looking for. I think Nebraska is really good, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he would consider it. My sense in knowing Mark, I think he'd probably hold on. I don't think he's looking to leave. I think he would leave for the right job, and I don't think Nebraska is the right fit for him. As good a job as it is, I think he's got higher expectations.
So Tennessee plays LSU, and of course they had that season opener against Florida State that was a fiasco, and you had the Butte issue, and on and on and on, and they should have won that game. Are you do you think that teams pulled together because the first year adjusting from Ned Orgeron to Brian Kelly is going to be a major adjustment for a roster, and I could see Brian Kelly having success at LSU. I could also see him. I think Nick Saban was 7-6 in his first year in Alabama, or is that right? Um,
Um, well, he lost to ULM.
yeah,
At Alabama, he lost to
yeah.
UAB first year at LSU. So, yeah, I know where you're going with it. Yeah, I know where
I
you're
mean,
going with
I
this.
could see him instituting culture and it be a long-term smart play, but it may not take effect in 2022, which would help the Vols when they go to Baton Rouge.
Yeah, no, I think Tennessee. I've said it before. I think they're getting both Florida and LSU at the right time. I think Florida and LSU are going to be much better down the road, and a lot tougher for Tennessee to handle than this year. So, with that said, we'll see what Tennessee can do this year. Yeah, I agree, and you got to go to Baton Rouge, and no question. But yeah, that you nailed it. I mean, it's the other thing I would say that maybe people don't understand is that this LSU team has lost a lot of talent. Now they're still good, but they're not LSU good. I mean, their
Interesting.
offensive line's not good. Right now, they don't have a difference maker at running back. I mean, I think that Brian's going to do a good job with Jaden Daniels, but I don't know. I mean, but they've got some. Nussmeier's got some ability. Walker Howard is the quarterback of the future, the elite true freshman. So they got some issues there defensively. They're good. They've got better talent on that side of the ball, but they've had a couple of injuries early, and So no, this is a transition year. You're absolutely correct. It doesn't mean that they can't beat Tennessee. No, I think they can, but I think this is Tennessee's getting them quote unquote at the right time, just as they are with Florida. I think Florida's program is headed in the right direction. I think LSU is, but you're right, headed in the right direction. But like the path is really long, like not this year type.
Right. I told people yesterday on the show, you do whatever you can to go to Baton Rouge if you haven't been to a game at Tiger Stadium because it is probably one of my 3 favorites. I love the Swamp. I do love Neyland. Auburn to me was always a little underrated. When I showed up there for the first time, I was like, "Holy Hannah!" I thought this was supposed to be the little kid brother of the other school, and the environment there was unbelievable. There is BYU where they had 2 female fans topless over the weekend. I don't know if you heard that standing around. Thoughts?
Well, yeah, and I mean, I could say that
Yeah, we'll
both
just
of them. I could say something really off color, like they were both married to the same guy. But
or they were a couple of cougars on the prowl.
could be. Well, there you go. But
Uh-huh.
thank you, thank you.
I
No, that was quite interesting there. And by the way, what a game that was. I don't know how many folks stayed up late to watch it. I did against Baylor, but that was a real intriguing matchup. I thought Baylor really kind of let one get away, but thought they'd win that game. But BYU, that's a real. I've been there. They've got an unbelievable. But by the way, I mean you're in the TV business. You should know this. The television studio at BYU, the university, is like better than anything CBS, NBC, and ABC can put together. It is like because they do all those, stuff. It's unbelievable.
Chris, you don't tell me that because well, my son wants to study film, so we've toured Southern Cal and we're about to tour NYU. I don't need to add another high dollar school to the list, and
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like this is like the kind of the Mormon, but they've got
yeah,
this unbelievable thing. They don't do a whole lot with sports on it, but you can catch the BYU channel on DirecTV. I other than maybe catching a few sports here or there, it's not my go-to, but no, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, those are really good. I tell you one thing about Auburn. What I was the most intriguing thing about Auburn was back in the day when Coach Allen was coaching against them, they had the biggest crown on the field that you ever could see. It was when you stand on the sidelines, to give you an idea, you could see only like the shoulder up from Pat Dye. So literally,
okay,
you're
so
standing.
let me interrupt for those that don't understand. The crown, there is a crown on the field, so it drains. If you haven't been on a football field,
Well,
the middle of the field slightly higher, slightly supposed to be, but Chris is saying it was way higher. Go ahead.
really high, and back in the day when they didn't monitor it quite as much for the draining purpose, it wasn't for the drain because they didn't need that much drain. It was to help the running game because you'd get those backs. It would be like running down a hill.